You ask him what's wrong. He looks at you for a second, then says, "I'm fine." But deep down, you know he's not. How many times have you sat beside someone you love and still felt completely alone? He's not cold, he's kind, responsible, maybe even thoughtful in his own quiet way. But when it comes to opening up, it feels like there's a wall you can't get through, and you start to wonder. Is it me? Am I doing something wrong? If that's ever been you, you're not alone, and more importantly, you're not wrong for wanting more. In this video, we're going to talk about what his silence really means, why so many men struggle to express what they feel, and how you can build the kind of emotional connection that doesn't need to be forced, tested, or begged for. If you've ever found yourself guessing what's on his mind, this is the space for you. Like the video, subscribe for more content like this, and share your experience in the comments. I promise, someone else needs to hear your story too. Part 1. Why he doesn't talk, and it's not because he doesn't feel. When a man doesn't talk about his feelings, it's easy to assume he doesn't have any, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Most of the time, he feels deeply. He just doesn't know how to put those feelings into words. Think back to how boys are raised. From an early age, they hear things like, "Don't cry," "Be strong," "Handle it." Emotions weren't something they were taught to explore. They were taught to fix, to stay calm, to hold it in. Vulnerability for many men felt like failure, so they learned to push it down, bury it deep, and keep moving. That doesn't mean the emotions disappeared. Imagine a river flowing quietly under a sheet of ice. On the surface, everything looks still, cold, unreadable. But underneath, that water is alive. It's moving with force, carving its way through stone. A man's heart often works like that. You may not see much, but that doesn't mean nothing's there. And while some women wait for big declarations or poetic confessions, many men speak a completely different language. They don't always say, "I miss you," but they'll ask, "Did you get home safe?" They might not say, "I love you" out loud, but they'll remember your coffee order, fix your car, show up when you're tired and don't want to talk to anyone. To them, love is in the doing. It's easy to overlook these quiet moments. To think, if he really cared, wouldn't he just say it? But for many men, words feel risky. Once they say something out loud, it becomes real, vulnerable, exposed, and unless they feel absolutely safe, they'll stick to what they know, action. So if he's not opening up, it's not because he doesn't feel. It's because somewhere along the way, he was taught that feeling too much makes him weak. That silence is safer than being misunderstood. That if he lets someone all the way in, he might not know how to come back from it. Understanding this doesn't mean settling for distance. It means seeing his silence in a new way. Not as rejection, but as protection. And once he learns that you can handle what's beneath the surface, not with judgment, but with steady presence, that river under the ice starts to thaw. And one day, without warning, you'll hear something you didn't expect, something soft, something real. And it won't be because you pried it out of him. It will be because he finally felt safe enough to let you in. Part 2. When questions feel like interrogation. You ask because you care. You ask because you want to connect. But sometimes, the more questions you ask, the quieter he becomes. For many women, asking "What's wrong?" or "What are you thinking?" feels like a natural way to show love. You're reaching out, hoping to open a door. But to him, it might feel like a spotlight. Not warmth, but pressure. Not curiosity, but interrogation. It's not because your questions are wrong. It's about how they land when he's not ready, or when the space around him doesn't feel safe. If he feels like he's being judged, interrupted, or second-guessed, he'll retreat. Not to punish you, but to protect himself. Imagine this. He starts to open up, maybe just a little. Then before he finishes, you say, "I know what you're going to say." You might mean well. You're trying to show understanding. But what he hears is, "You've already decided who I am. My words don't matter." And so, next time, he holds them in. A man who's trying to share but keeps getting cut off eventually stops trying. And here's the thing, silence isn't always distance. Sometimes it's a test of safety. He's watching to see if you'll hold the space without rushing in to fill it. He's asking silently, "Can I say this without being misunderstood?" So what can you do? You practice the power of quiet. Not cold silence, but warm stillness. You ask, and then you wait. You don't rephrase question 3 times. You don't offer the answers for him. You just breathe and let the silence do what it's meant to do. That pause? It might feel awkward at first, but in that space, something powerful happens. He begins to realize that he's not being pushed, he's being trusted. And that's when he starts to trust you back. Creating emotional safety isn't about fixing his feelings or finishing his sentences. It's about giving him room to find his own words. Some men need time, not because they don't care, but because they were never taught to move fast with emotions. So the next time you ask something meaningful and he takes a while to respond, try this. Sit with him. Listen without leaning in too hard. Don't rush. Let your stillness speak louder than your words. That kind of space, quiet, steady, patient, is where real connection begins. Part 3. Trust is built in the quiet moments. Karen used to get frustrated with her husband. He was kind, loyal, always there, but emotionally, it felt like he lived behind a locked door. She tried everything. She asked him questions. She created long, heartfelt moments hoping he'd finally open up. But the more she leaned in, the more he pulled back. Then one evening, something shifted. No questions, no expectations. She simply sat next to him on the couch, legs tucked under her, sipping tea in silence. He stared at the wall for a while. Then, slowly, he began talking. Out of nowhere, he told her a story from his childhood, a painful one he had never shared with anyone. It wasn't the moment she asked that opened the door. It was the moment she stopped trying to force it that made it safe for him to walk through on his own. That's the thing about trust. It doesn't grow in pressure, it grows in peace. It builds in the quiet moments when no one's demanding anything, but presence is still felt. Many women think connection comes from saying more. But for some men, the most healing thing you can do is just be there. Not to fix, not to probe, but to hold space, open, gentle, and judgment-free. And once he shares, you have a choice. How you respond either deepens trust or damages it. If you take his words and later use them to win an argument, you teach him to stay silent next time. If you repeat his private thoughts to a friend, even casually, you tell him his emotions aren't sacred. If you roll your eyes when he's vulnerable, even if you don't mean to, the message is loud. Real emotional safety is built in the small things. Don't interrupt, don't fill in the blanks. Don't assume you already know where he's going. Let him find his own way to the truth, and when he gets there, protect what he gives you. You don't need to do more. You just need to do it differently. There's something powerful about a woman who can stay calm in silence, who doesn't chase answers but welcomes them when they come. That kind of presence makes a man feel safe in a world that often tells him to stay guarded. So if you want more openness, don't push harder. Soften more. Create space with your energy, not just your words. Trust doesn't ask, "Tell me everything now." It whispers, "Take your time. I'm not going anywhere." And sometimes, in that quiet, he finally begins to speak. Why are we so quick to demand emotional access, but so slow to offer emotional safety? It's a hard question, but one worth asking. Because sometimes, in our deep desire to feel close, we accidentally push for control instead of connection. When we're afraid of being hurt, it's easy to want answers right now. So we ask again and again. We interpret silence. We fill in his blanks. Not because we don't care, but because we're scared of what we might hear or not hear at all. But maybe that fear is what's standing in the way. Maybe the fastest way to true connection isn't getting the right words out of him. Maybe it's slowing down our need to have them in the first place. To pause, to breathe, to choose patience over pressure. What if your role isn't to extract the truth, but to hold space for it to appear when it's ready? There's strength in becoming the woman who doesn't chase closeness but creates it by being steady. That shift in energy can change everything, and in that quiet shift, you don't lose power, you gain trust. Sometimes, silence isn't distance. It's just a different way of caring. When you create a space without pressure, without judgment, you invite truth to rise on its own. And connection, real, lasting connection, doesn't need to be chased. It only needs to be welcomed. So remember these 3 things. His quiet moments don't mean he doesn't care. A safe space isn't built with words, but with presence. And emotional closeness doesn't come from pushing. It comes from patience. You don't have to fix him. Just be the place where he doesn't have to hide. That's where love begins to speak. Have you ever sat in silence with someone you love and wondered what they were really feeling? Share your story in the comments. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. If this video spoke to something inside you, like it, subscribe, and send it to a friend who's been carrying the same quiet questions. You're not alone, and neither are they.